It's another day at the lair. We're working together. Ain't no job that's too big, 'cause we can make it better. We've got Robin the robot, teach us to build. Work hard together for a better future. We've got Robin the robot and Orby too.
Can these cars move?
Patience is a virtue, Robin.
But I have been patient, and I really want to get back to our spaceship so that I can take a hot, steaming oil bath.
See, we're moving.
Not fast enough. What about if people are trying to get to work, or there's an emergency? It's not fair that people have to deal with bad traffic when they want to go somewhere. I'm getting to the bottom of this.
But you're driving the car.
Time to fly!
Hey, you're the robot who helped clean our beaches.
Wow, I guess that was me.
Well, do you think you could help fix our roads? We tried to create extra lanes, but it's not working.
Maybe I can call my friends at STEM Guyana to help again.
Hi, my name is Angel Di Mendonza. I am 15 years old and I like to dance.
My name is Elsie Harry. I am an urban and rural planning professional who specializes in the area of community development. I am also a part-time lecturer and I volunteer with various non-governmental organizations here in Guyana.
So I just have a few questions. So what are some potential solutions to overly congested traffic?
It depends on what we want to happen to the traffic. That is how we'll choose the solutions. So for example, if we want to reduce the number of people that are using the same routes at the same time, alternative transportation modes would be a good solution, as well as transit-oriented development. So currently in Guyana, the regular modes of transportation that we use from day to day would include roads, bridges, and in some cases, the rivers. Now, we can also introduce other modes of transportation. For example, back in the day, Guyana had a railway, and the railway line is now what we know as the line top, where a lot of the buses and the private vehicles traverse. But if we were to reinvest in a rail system, and it doesn't have to be a heavy rail system, it could be a light rail system, like a tram, for example, then that would create an alternative mode of transportation, which would mean that there are less people on the actual road driving and getting stuck in traffic, because there would be another mode of transportation that they can use. Some countries have also invested in subway, which is the rail system that travels below ground. That is something that can also be considered, because it takes some of the traffic off of the roadways. In terms of transit-oriented development, that principle would support the use of alternative modes of transportation, because the city or the village or the town would be organized in such a way that the persons would live close to the mode of transportation that they would take.
Okay, how do you think we can improve our proposed solutions to make them environmentally friendly?
Okay, so in terms of building alternative routes, when alternative roadways, highways, bypass roads get built, there's a lot of clearage that happens. You're clearing a lot of trees, a lot of foliage. And in a lot of cases, these aren't replanted. So replanting the foliage after the road is built is a good alternative. Also, you do not clear, you only clear the amount of foliage you need to clear to build the road. So for example, I know that we will see on TVs, and the Linden Highway is a good example, where there are roads that are actually driving through thick foliage. Now that's because they want to maintain the scenic parts of the environment, but also you want to maintain the functions of the trees in the environment. So rather than doing mass clearing, you're only clearing exactly what you need and you're leaving the rest of the greenery. That is something that we can do, as well as we can replant the trees after we have cleared to build the roads. In terms of making the other solution more environmentally friendly, which is lots of people using the road at the same time, but there are different lanes that are managing the traffic. In a case like that, lots of traffic on the road at the same time has a lot of emissions, a lot of carbon emissions into the atmosphere. So what you would want to do is encourage more people to use public transportation and to carpool rather than using their individual vehicles to reduce the level of emissions that you have going into the atmosphere. And the way how you do that is by giving priority to public transportation over private transportation. So for example, if you put 3 bus lanes on the road and 1 private car lane, and people are realizing that they get stuck in the private car lane because there's only one, and they're getting to where they're going very slowly and maybe not on time, they will consider using more public transportation. And because public transportation are bigger transportation systems that carry more people, whereas private transportation systems carry less people, then you would have a reduction of the emissions that you're seeing going into the atmosphere.
How long will these solutions last?
These solutions with proper maintenance will last a lifetime. We as planners, we don't just build for this generation, we build for the next generation. So we usually input maintenance and upgrade systems into the things that we are building, into the things that we are planning, to ensure that these solutions outlast even us.
And what sort of training is need to be done to become a professional in your field?
Okay, so in terms of urban and rural planning, there are various ways that you can become a professional depending on what is required in the country in which you want to operate. So for example, in Guyana, you are simply required to do the academic qualification. So I did a master's degree in urban and rural planning. Some people do a bachelor's degree and then do a master's degree in urban and rural planning.
Okay, so why did you join the profession?
Because I am development minded. When I was thinking about what career I wanted to have, I looked around at Guyana and I was thinking about what does Guyana need to aid her development. Yes, I have my own interests, but my interests are broad. So I decided to narrow down my interests on the basis of what could benefit my country. And so at the time where I decided to study urban and rural planning, Guyana had just had a major oil discovery, and lots of people were going into degrees in specializing in oil and gas. But I decided that I would be a part of the support mechanism that would support the oil and gas industry. For example, now that there are lots of people coming into Guyana, there is even more traffic, there's even more use of our roadways and walkways. Georgetown is extremely congested, for example, and we're building new towns, we're building new connecting infrastructure. And at that time, I could foresee that this would happen. So in 2017, I made the decision that I would study urban and rural planning so that I could be a part of this support mechanism that could help to usher Guyana into this new age of dealing with the problems that would arise.
And what are some inspiring words for the viewers?
Okay, I would say you are capable of an infinite amount of things. There are no things that you are not capable of trying. There are only things that you may not have thought about trying. So for example, me, I was operating in the field of international relations prior to transitioning to urban and rural planning. And lots of people said to me, why are you transitioning from a social science field to an engineering field? And it was because I wanted to make this transition. I wanted to be of more use to my country. And so I challenged myself, and I did it successfully. So I feel like there are no limits to the things that you can do. You only have to try. Of course, there are some things that you'll be able to do better than other things, but you will only know if you try. And once you're willing to try, that is how you become a useful citizen of your country and a useful citizen of the world.
Clap your hands and start to dance. It's another day at the lair. We're working together. Ain't no job that's too big.